Good Sunday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace on this Sunday, February 26th. Sort of a different look behind me. I'm still in the process of revamping the home studio, moving things around, monitors, and stuff's not hooked up and stuff's in the wrong place. It's just, I spent all day yesterday trying to just make sure I could do this as usual. So, and I still have that dry cough. Oh, it's the weather. Blame it on the weather because you can't blame me for any of that. Don't even go there. All right, here's a look at the radar this morning. And we do have what appears to be some light rain trying to make its way into the area. All of this is just a little weak impulse that's trying to make its way across the area. With that, you may find, just like the last couple of days, a few sprinkles on your windshields this morning. But other than that, it is fairly dry. We've got high pressure sitting right there about Hartsville, Tennessee. But at the lower levels where we are on the ground, it's very dry. So a lot of this that's moving through is just falling and then evaporating. So we get a little bit maybe of a sprinkle, even down towards, say, Humboldt, Tennessee, or Jackson, Tennessee, or down toward Dixon, I-40, west of Nashville. Yeah, there may be a brief shower, a little bit of light rain there. But for us, it's just a few sprinkles as that little weak instability just kind of moves through the area. Today is going to be mainly cloudy with a passing shower possible. And looking at the next 10 days, the model blender showing up and down, up and down. It just, and that's why I have this little bit of a tickle in my throat occasionally. And yesterday when I was moving stuff in here and the dust kicked up, oh, there's dust. You think this place is clean? It's my fault because I've got all these wires and everything. You know how dust bunnies love the wires and all the hookups and stuff I've got in here. Yeah, that's the result. So look at these temperatures, though. That doesn't help either. We go warm one day, cool the next, warm one day, cool the next. It just is so topsy-turvy. 60 today. We hit 53 yesterday. 54 is the average. So we were just 1 degree off of the average temperature for this time of the year. Today, we should be warmer. Now, there is that small chance of a shower, as I mentioned. Tonight, we'll just drop to 53, and that's where we should be for a high temperature. That's where we were for a high temperature yesterday. That's going to be our low tonight because there's a warm front coming. And with that, and the winds, as I've been talking about for Monday, wow, the winds are really going to be the big story for the next 24 hours. Not the rain, not any kind of thunderstorm threat, but just the wind. 73 tomorrow, maybe even 75. Crazy. Then we look at Tuesday, we go to 68. Then we hop back to the mid 70s on March 1st, the first day of March on Wednesday. Then we go back to the 60s. Then we go back to the 50s. Then we go low 50s. Then we go upper 50s, 60, 60, 60s, the rest of that 10 days. It's really a pattern of transition. And nothing in here in this 10-day stretch indicates anything winter-like. I mean, there's a few nights that you see Friday night, Saturday night when we get down to about freezing, but that's not offhand. I mean, that's not anything out of the usual. for the end of February and the beginning of March. All these 60s and 70s is what's unusual. But there it is, still going to be with us. I still see no signs of a winter, what we would define as a winter coming for our area anytime soon. All right, here's a look at the mesonet temperatures. 40s here, 30s to the north, and that's where a little bit of cloud cover has moved away, allowed for clearing overnight. So some of those temperatures up north of us are in the 30s. We've had a blanket of clouds over southern Kentucky, so therefore temperatures have been a bit warmer. But where the skies have cleared, there's fog this morning. So that's another thing to watch out for this morning, dense fog. We don't have it so much here in the Bowling Green area, but once you go north, where all those blue shaded cities and counties are, that's where the skies have cleared and it's gotten a little bit colder. That's where the fog is this morning, up along the Ohio River, northern Kentucky, central Kentucky, and kind of spotty around here, but not too bad that I've seen this morning. All right, let's take a look at the map here and what's coming for the future. And we get started with where we are today, with the flow here being more out of the south and southwest as we get these warmer winds, blowing in here. Here's where we're getting our feed of the warmer air. Look how it slopes up and just covers the entire southeastern United States. Now, you can also see this little bit of overrunning moisture. This is what's moving into the area this morning. And that's why we're seeing these little rounds of showers that just kind of pop up here and there. And you see these coming in. Now, let's watch our low pressure system. This is the one that I've been talking about, which will have just really deepening aspects to it. Look at that, 986 millibars, very, very strong. The good news with this system is that it's going to move very fast. It's not going to be here long, and it's far removed from where we are in southern Kentucky. So we're not going to catch the brunt of the worst of the weather, but we're still going to get the wind. So the wind component will be there, and even starting late tonight, the winds will start to kick up and the rains will start to move in as we get into the, look at that. Wow, I just saw that. Let me go back a little bit. 981, 983. Watch it go 981, 982. I thought I saw a 980. There it is. Woo. That's a deep low pressure system that is just, you can see how it's just wrapped around there. Just really wrapped around. So this thing is intense. It will be throwing down some severe weather south of us. There's the warm frontal boundary, and then you have the cold front, which is going to just be right in here as we get into the day tomorrow. In fact, this is late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and the winds will start to kick up overnight. You'll hear the winds kicking up overnight, not the more serious gusts, but the 25s to 35 mile per hour gust will start to kick up even tonight into early tomorrow morning until this thing moves off to the north and east. And it will. And the good news is it moves very fast. So these gusty winds are not going to be with us for very long. For several hours tomorrow, it will be quite gusty at times. You can see these tight lines here. Look at all the tightness of these lines. Very close together, these isobars. That's equal lines of pressure, and they're all squished together. That's the wind component. When you get this compression in the atmosphere, and it just, it's like pushing the wind into a tunnel, and everything still has to go through that tunnel. It compresses the wind and makes it stronger. Just like a ballerina going around and around, she gets more, velocity, more spin. There is a little bit of a threat, maybe a small threat north of us for a couple of, speaking of spin, maybe a few weak tornadoes along that line. You can see them there, those little individual cells, as we get into tomorrow morning, midday. This thing will be over by midday tomorrow. The front will come on through, showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder, but I just don't see a lot of thunder and severe weather with this. Although, as I mentioned yesterday, when it comes on through, the winds will be strong enough to prompt a severe thunderstorm warning, but it won't be a severe thunderstorm as we normally think. It would be because of the wind criteria. Designated severe thunderstorm winds are 58 miles per hour or higher. So if we reach that criteria, you'll see severe thunderstorm warnings going up tomorrow morning. But it doesn't mean it's lightning thunder. It just means severe wind. So there's not a necessarily severe wind warning. There maybe should be, but it's just, that's just part of the criteria. But you see, after this is gone, as we get into Monday night and into Tuesday, really nothing changes in the flow. It's still sort of zonal, west to east, and we stay in the warm air sector, all that winter weather locked up to the north because of the jet stream and the way these things are flowing. See there, even into Tuesday, we don't get a change. We're not going to get that change in the weather pattern that one might think we would after, that kind of a low pressure system, but it's not going to happen for us. So no winter for us. There will be these temporary cool downs, and we just continue to go on and have these up and down days of 50, 60 one day, and then 70, mid 70s the next day. That's not going to change anytime soon. Maps are showing the setup here. We get overrunning moisture in the upper flow. Here comes the big storm system out in the south central plains, parts of the southwest. Severe weather ongoing tonight, most of Oklahoma, parts of Texas, even southern Kansas. And then we move on into tomorrow morning. This is when the worst of the winds will start to push through here. The low goes up into the Great Lakes, causes havoc with more winter weather there, more power outages. And speaking of, this is one thing I didn't mention, we could have power outages tomorrow because if the winds get 50, 55, 60, potentially 60 miles per hour, that's going to bring down some tree branches, limbs, knocking out power. So it wouldn't surprise me tomorrow to have some either brownouts or these little interruptions in power. Not everybody, but sporadic. And then by afternoon, it's over. It's out of here quick. So here's Tuesday. Cold front comes through, sort of becomes more of a warm front with the next low. And look at that. It's at 1,000 millibars. So this one's taking the same path, but it's not as, in fact, it's a much weaker low pressure system. And it doesn't even paint in that much in the way of rain for us until we get into Thursday. That's when the Gulf of Mexico opens up and we get some rain returning here for Thursday into Friday. There's a straw disturbance. I call it a straw because it's like sucking up the moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, bringing it north. And there you go. It's sort of a rinse and repeat, but also topsy-turvy because the temperatures warm one day, a little chilly the next day, just not going to change. The severe weather outlook has changed. Yesterday, it didn't look like this. Now it's more west to east oriented instead of north to south. If you'll recall, yesterday it was more north to south. It looks like central southern Illinois, central southern Indiana, and a little sliver of Louisville up to Covington and Cincinnati under that slight level 2 slight risk. That's because they could actually have a few strong to severe thunderstorms with actual lightning and thunder, and even a low, brief tornado risk. But for us, we're under the general to level 1 marginal, and that's for the severe wind. So that will be for tomorrow, and those wind gusts of up to, as I mentioned, 50, 60 miles per hour. All right, that will do it for this Sunday edition of the Sam Channel weather. This morning, no big deals except for the fog in a couple of places and a few passing showers today with highs around 60. All right, thank you for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning.